And one of the things that I know immediately about you is that you're a sincere man. A, because you were able to stick to the topic and you wanted to stick to the topic. And I'm going to return the courtesy and let you come and talk about the Bible now, right? Because you've been fair to me, so I want to be fair to you. So that tells me that you've got something good in you, something sincere. Yeah? Right? And secondly, you were willing to go with your conscience even against the Sunnah and say that you didn't agree with wife beating.
I'm not going against the Sunnah.
I believe that you are.
Quran, and I don't believe that's the right thing to do. And I believe the reason I myself, inherently in my heart, I don't believe it's the right thing, is because I follow the Prophet ﷺ.
Yeah.
Now, Bob.
Wait, well, I'll one final comment and then we'll swap. I just want to point out to you that all four of the Sunni madhabs, they all agree with wife beating. There's not one of them that says it's haram. That's my final word on the matter. It's up to you now to square your disagreement with what the madhab says are the sunnah.
I thank you for enlightening that. I need to make my more research about that, and I'm happy I came here today because
it's got you thinking.
I sometimes think to myself, I know a lot about my religion, but then when it comes to things like this,
right, fair's fair. I challenge you on Islam and the Quran. I'm now going to let you reverse it.
I'm not going to challenge you on anything, but I just want to ask your opinion on.
Sure, go on.
I've been researching a lot about.
Merry Christmas.
I've been researching a lot about the Jewish scriptures when it comes to the Talmud and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to from a genuine Christian, because I've seen a lot of your videos.
Yeah.
It's very admirable to see that you stand on business, as they say.
Yeah.
So I want to see your opinion when it comes to the Talmudic. Do you know about the Talmud?
Yeah, I know about the Talmud.
You know what it says about Jesus burning an excrement and stuff like that?
I know how some people interpret certain passages as referring to Jesus.
What's your opinion on that? Because I have read the Talmud and I have actually read those passages where it says some very bad things about. Look, one thing about Muslims, one thing we can agree as.
Let's just say it says bad things about Jesus. Let's just say that.
Very bad.
Right,
I don't want to repeat it.
Yeah.
We love and respect Jesus.
Yeah.
Isa alayhi salam, we respect him. We both believe he's going to come on the final day of judgment. He's going to rule, and we're all going to follow him. We agree on that. I want to know what your opinion is when it comes to. I don't want to say this Jewish, like this Talmudic stuff.
Okay, I'll answer your question.
Spew about Christians. Same with the Holy Land.
I'll answer that question. Absolutely. So, firstly, even if the Talmud had nothing but praise for Jesus Christ, I would still condemn the Talmud. I would still say the Talmud is not to be believed. There's lots of gospels out there that we Christians condemn that laud Jesus, that praise Jesus, but we say that we don't believe in them. So I don't believe or follow the Talmud. I condemn the Talmud as a false scripture. I actually believe that that's what the Talmud is what's being referred to. You know when the Quran says that they write the scripture with their own hand and then say that this is from Allah?
Their rabbis as their
No, it's a different, but it says that as well. But the Quran says, and they write the scripture with their own hand and say that this is from Allah.
It's from Allah.
I believe that passage is talking about the Talmud.
Yeah, you might
right?
Be, yeah.
Now, my point is, as a Christian, I reject the Talmud completely. Right?
Course, yeah.
Now, as to Jews spitting on Christians, obviously I condemn that as well. I condemn that utterly, and I feel that any Israeli citizen who's a Jew who spits on a Christian or attacks a church should be arrested, prosecuted, and imprisoned.
It's not going to happen though.
Well, I mean, the thing is, here's the difference between.
It's sad to see.
The difference between Israel and Hamas, right, is that Israel knows that it is dependent upon America.
Of course.
So when America says jump, Israel says how high, right? So right now Trump is on a big thing about protecting Christians. And all of a sudden, Benjamin Netanyahu is saying we're going to do more to protect Christians in the Middle East. Right. The thing about Hamas and all the Islamist networks like the Taliban, like ISIS, like Al-Qaeda, like Islamic Jihad, like, choose your one of 36 Islamic armies operating in the world today. All of them are ideologically committed to the subjugation of Christians, and there is no possibility of changing their mind.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with subjugation. I agree.
I know you don't. Because you're a good guy.
I don't agree with, and I don't think the Taliban, the Daesh is. I'm not even going to get into that because I believe they're. I'm not even going to get into that. I believe they're a Mossad plant, whatever, CIA, whatever you want to go. But Quranically, if you want to do it Islamically, are you talking about a dhimmi? Is that what you're talking about? Paying the jizya, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, Bob, are you how much tax do you pay right now?
The UK? I pay upwards of 25% in taxes.
So would you
all my income?
So would you rather be more happy to pay 25% in tax to this feminist, fucking transgender government that are pushing gay rights and stuff on your children and eventually my children? Would you rather pay your money to a government like that, or a government that's more in line with your Judeo-Christian laws or is teaching in the Bible? Jizya is only what percent? 2%.
It's 2%.
It's 2%.
Well, no. Zakat is 2.5%.
We pay more. As
Jizya, no, you don't.
Yes, we do.
No.
Zakat is higher than jizya.
No, it isn't.
Wallahi, and you don't have to be in the army. I have to be in the army.
No. Zakat is stuck at 2.5%.
Value of gold.
Let me finish. Jizya can be upwards of 50%. And I have the hadiths to prove it. I can find you the hadiths that demonstrate this. Come on, Muz. Do you want me to show you the hadith?
Jizya is not.
Do you want me to show you the hadith?
It's impossible.
Do you want me to show you the hadith?
50%?
Yes, up to 50%. Do you want me to show you the hadith?
Depending on what, though?
Right, depending upon the Caliph's commission. So the Caliph just makes the percentage up. He just decides. It's down to his arbitrary decision.
But does that not?
Because when Abu Bakr, had the remainder of the Jewish tribes in the Khyber Valley, saying to him, look, we would like to stay. He said to them, you can stay and you can keep your farms, but you have to give me you have to give me 50% of the produce.
That's not jizya, though.
That was jizya.
That's not jizya. Jizya is a monetary value that you pay to the government, to the Khalifa at the time.
It is not always monetary. It's not always monetary, because we lived in societies in the past where not everybody had access to money, and what you would do is you would use produce as the equivalent of money.
Right. Okay.
And that's just how agricultural societies worked everywhere, not just in Islamic world, but everywhere in every agricultural society.
Under a Khilafah, you'd be allowed to.
But let me answer your more fundamental question, because you're asking me whether I'd like to pay 25% to this liberal progressive monstrosity, or whether I'd like to pay 2% to an Islamic caliphate.
Before you start, I'm not one of these guys that come to the UK and say, we're going to bring. I think that's the.
You don't sound like one. I'm not treating you like one. I actually think you're a sincere guy.
Thank you. So as I do for you, Bob. But I don't want you to think like, oh, he wants us to take over England, and maybe I don't believe it. I'm saying, for example, if he was to move to Qatar, Abu Dhabi, something like that, in a circumstance like that is what I'm talking about. England, I don't want to impose my religion. Like, I don't care.
That's fine. Muz, you sound like a good guy. You sound like a kind of guy that would actually could contribute well to our society. So let me just answer that more fundamental question. So I just want to start off by saying that I absolutely condemn what our progressive secular government stands for and does. But if I had to choose between an Islamic caliphate and a progressive secular humanism, I would choose a progressive secular humanism.
Right.
Not because I think progressive secular humanism is good, but because I think it is the lesser of two evils. I actually think an Islamic caliphate is more evil than a homo-positive, anti-family, anti-God, secular humanism. Yes.
So you would think that an Islamic caliphate that praises Jesus, says these good things about the Mother Mary, you would rather be in favor of gay parades where men are walking around naked in front of children where their private parts are. You'd prefer that over.
Yes, and let me explain why.
Come on, Bob.
No, let me explain why, Mus. One second. Not because I think that gay parades in front of children are good things. If it was up to me, they'd all be outlawed. They wouldn't be funded, right? If it was up to me. And in a Christian state, they would be outlawed and they wouldn't be funded, right? And we'd be arresting a whole bunch of transvestite militants who have gone after children and targeted children sexually. Now, but an Islamic caliphate is even worse than that. Because an Islamic caliphate, let me explain, an Islamic caliphate makes it illegal for you to become a Christian. An Islamic caliphate makes it illegal for me to proclaim the gospel. I am, in this degenerate, progressive society, able to preach the gospel. And that, to the Christian, is the most important thing.
Say that to the Lebanese people that have Coptic Christians in Egypt and Lebanon and Syria and Palestine and all these countries that have Christians within them that preach, they go to church.
Yeah.
What's your answer to that?
Well,
They're predominantly Muslim countries. Lebanon is a Muslim country.
Lebanon was taken over by Muslims. It was a predominantly Christian country up until the 1970s when Palestinian terrorists started a civil war by attacking Christians. And then most Christians, because they were better connected to the West, decided, sadly, to just leave.
What about the Coptic Christians in Egypt?
Coptic Christians was a Christian society occupied by an Islamic caliphate that then for 7 centuries has persecuted them, including the kidnaps and raping of their children, pogroms against their villages and towns, attacks against their churches, killing people that convert to Christianity. These caliphates of Islam have done nothing but persecute Christians for 1400 years. At worst, the progressives just discriminate against us. They discriminate against us, but they're not openly persecuting us. At the worst, a progressive bursts into a church and disrupts a service. He doesn't start stabbing everyone inside the church, but Islamists do.
Okay. So you have a fear of not being able to preach your religion under a caliphate? Is that
well, we would anyway, but it would be illegal in an Islamic caliphate. Right. It would be illegal. And for that reason, an Islamic caliphate is more degenerate to us than even a degenerate progressive liberal humanism. And I am against liberal progressive humanism. I'm against this liberal secular Britain. I don't want this liberal secular Britain. I want a Christian Britain. I want a Christian Britain where women are not beaten, where they don't dress like whores, where children aren't raped by Muslim grooming gangs but are protected, but they aren't.
What about the Yorkshire white grooming gangs? Have you heard about that?
But they aren't also. Wait. They aren't. Wait. I wasn't, but you interrupted me. But they all also aren't dressed up by their white, secular, atheist mothers to look like little prostitutes walking down the street. Right?
I agree.
Right? I want a society in which people are not abusing alcohol and getting absolutely wasted on a Friday and lying in their own vomit at 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning. But I also don't want a society in which Muslim men are having secret wives, hotel wives, as certain famous Dawagandists have done.
It's disgusting. And
but you're condemning the Sunnah, bro.
I'm not condemning
and that means
the Sunnah,
that you need to choose a better religion, and that better religion is Christianity.
This is where I'm coming from, Bob. And it comes in terms of the individual acts of these disgusting people, these Pakistani grooming gangs or whatever. The way you attach it to the Islamic problem and without addressing the 21 Yorkshire raping there was I don't know if you've read about the Yorkshire grooming gangs, the white grooming gangs.
I know about individual. I've got Christian brothers who are involved in vigilante groups that hunt child groomers.
Good.
Right, I know at least 2 Christian brothers who are doing this because the police are not doing it, and they've both told me independently that most of the people that they trap are actually white, not immigrants. Right?
More power to them, honestly.
Right? So I'm telling you that because I want you to understand I'm not singling out Pakistani grooming gangs. But the state has singled out Pakistani grooming gangs as a particular group that they will ignore.
Because they get backlash
from the Muslim vote. They don't want to lose the Muslim vote, so they turn a blind eye to the crime.
It's not right. I don't care if you're whatever you are, if you're a paedophile or a rapist, whatever.
You are closer to being Christian. I swear it. You're closer to being Christian.
Of course I am, because I'm a true Muslim. That's what true Muslims are meant to be like.
Well, let me ask you this question.
I don't understand when these weirdo people come here.
Yeah.
I want to bring Sharia to... Brother, if you want Sharia that bad, there's 1,000 countries that are implementing it right now. You can go back. Why are you trying to bring it to a place where.
But I would want to put it to you, Muz, that Christian law is better than Sharia law, and I'll give you some examples. I'll give you some examples. Under Sharia law, you said
very similar.
Under Sharia law, you said that you said you were married to this woman.
That's my wife. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you're under Sharia law, you can have a wife that you don't tell her about.
No, that's not true.
It's called. It is.
It's not true.
It's called.
If I want to marry another wife,
You don't have her. You don't need her permission.
I don't need her permission. That's correct.
Correct.
But I wouldn't be able to leave her in the blind about it. Because here's why.
Show me.
If I was to get married to another wife, if I wanted to have 2-3 wives, I'd have to, number one, treat them exactly. Like, I'm not saying here and there, exactly the same. If I buy my wife something, I have to go buy the second wife the same thing.
Yeah.
If I spend 2 nights with my first wife, I have to do the exact. So how can you keep them in the dark? It doesn't work.
Right, but what? No, I mean,
keep 'em in
hold on one second. There's a difference between something that's practically difficult and something that's impossible. And I'll give you an example where it is possible, right? Say you're an oil rig worker. So 6 months a year or every 4 months, you go away for 4 months, right? Well, oil rig workers get weekends off and you're in the North Sea and you can visit Aberdeen at the weekends, right? You could have a wife in Aberdeen that you see for 6 months of the year. You could have a wife in London that you see for 6 months of the year. You are not obliged to tell one wife about the other under Sharia law. You can, it's permissible, but it's not obligatory.
I think you've been researching a little bit into like Shia fiqh and stuff like that. Don't.
Do you know who I'm using as an example?
Are you talking about muta?
Do you know who I'm using as an example? I'm using do you know who Muhammad Hijab is?
Yes, I do.
Right, so Muhammad Hijab is accused of having a secret wife.
Oh, right, I don't know that.
Right?
Oh, is this recent?
Yeah, recently, like last year.
Okay.
Right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's accused of having a secret wife.
I did see him post something on Instagram about that, but I had no clue
Right.
where it was.
Now, he's denying it, obviously, for the sake of the record, he's denying it. But the point is, amidst all that big debate that was going on around whether Muhammad did or didn't do it, and I don't know, God knows the truth, right? You know what never came out? You know what no Muslim ever said? They never said that it was obligatory to tell one wife about your other wife. Right? You know what a misyar marriage is, right? Do you know what a misyar marriage is?
I do know what misyar is. Misyar was, during times of war, back in the day, Shias bring the same argumentation that you're going to bring. They have a thing called muta.
Yeah.
We believe that that's legal prostitution.
It is legal prostitution. I agree with you.
Shia
practice legal prostitution.
Yes, they do. And
right.
Thank you.
I agree with you. That is legal prostitution.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And what they do in the Karbala and stuff like that, it's disgusting. Misyar was a thing similar to that back in the times of war when men used to go to war and they were thousands of miles away from their homes. It was a thing that was practiced because men have inherent needs and whatever. So that was a thing, but it's
still practiced today. No, it has not. You're wrong, Muz. You can go to Islam QA, which is run by a sheikh, Salafi sheikh, right? And on Islam QA, you can find his fatwa about.
Who's this guy?
It's just called Islam QA. Oh, okay. That's his website. The name I don't remember. I can find out for you.
Who's he to give a fatwa? Who's this?
Well, he's a sheikh.
But you can't.
Okay. His title is sheikh. One assumes he's a Qadi, right? But Qadis can give fatwas, right?
Can give fatwas, but they have. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm assuming because he's got thousands of fatwas on his website. People are writing to him questions all the time. I'm assuming if he's offering out fatwas, it's because he's a Qadi. Now, the thing is, he on his website talks about misyar marriages as being current practice today. And as something that cannot be outlawed, as cannot be made haram, even though many jurists, many Qadis would like to.
I don't agree with that.
Well, I know you don't, but this is my point, is
we don't agree with that.
Because of your conscience, Muz, and I applaud you for it, I genuinely do. I think you're a nice guy. But because of your conscience, you're disagreeing with Sunnah, and I think that's a good thing. It is a good thing.
Misyar and these things that you're talking about, honestly, Bob,
Can you show me where... Firstly, there would be no authority that could outlaw it for everybody, right?
Misyar.
All I would need...
Because when the...
Okay, show me.
One of the... out of the 4 Prophet's companions, Abu Bakr, Ali, Uthman, either one of them, they could have outlawed it because during times of war, I've read that misyar was a thing, and it's understandable.
If I show you a fatwa,
if I
show you a fatwa from Islam QA
that
gives fiqh on the applicability of misyar marriage today as part of Sunnah, would you agree that I'm right?
I take my fatwa from...
Who? Who do you take your fatwas from?
Because I'm Afghan, the Taliban. Because I'm Afghan. Those are my... Those are
but
the
you're
people.
condemning the Taliban. You're saying you don't want the Taliban.
I'm condemning the Taliban only when it comes to the education of women and prosecution of like people...
Christians,
whatever. You shouldn't prosecute anyone, but you should go Islamic way with the jizya and stuff like that. You shouldn't just outright kill people, and that's not what they're doing. The only thing I outright condemn them about is the whole women's education.
Wait, but the point is,
I take my fatwa from
if you're taking your fatwas from the Talib, right? Then or from the...
I don't take it from Saudi Arabia.
Right. Okay. If you're taking your fatwas from the Taliban, I think are Hanbali, aren't they? Hanafi. Thank you for the correction. Right. So I believe that most Salafi are Hanafi.
No, they would disagree because Salafs.
I know the arguments about.
They don't like. It's not that they don't like. They have disagreements between one another. And it's the way they pray and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have arguments with each other when it comes to the Hanafis and the Salafis. So.
But this is one of the reasons why I reject Islam. Honestly, this is genuinely one of the reasons why I reject Islam. Right? Is because for whatever position you want to hold, you can find some scholar that will give you the fatwa that you want. Right? And
I could say the same thing about Christianity.
Well, hold on one second. You would struggle.
I wouldn't.
You would struggle. Okay? Because within the Christian faith, there are just some things that are always wrong. Right? Abortion,
Gay
always
priests,
wrong.
LGBT priests?
Well, it depends. Practicing or non-practicing?
Of course they're practicing if they're a priest.
No. Practicing sexuality or not?
LGBT, it doesn't matter if you're practicing. You class yourself as a gay individual. You're in a church and you're
right.
Given a
hold on one second. Because there is for us a difference.
This is interesting because I've never heard this
before. So the Christian position. Let me just clarify the Christian position on homosexuality and all of that. Right. Firstly, it's not a choice.
No.
To have gay feelings. Any more than it is a choice for you to have heterosexual feelings, right? You don't wake up one day and you know what, I feel like bum today. Like, that's not
the
what
sin
happens.
isn't acting it out,
right?
Is that what you were going to say?
Right. Now, Christians make a distinction between sin and sinner. Okay? Firstly, we say that everyone is a sinner. I'm a sinner, you're a sinner, gay priest,
we're not infallible.
A sinner. Okay? And each of us must restrain ourselves from practicing the sins that we are tempted to practice. And as a straight guy, I am pretty sure, just like me, you've seen women that you're attracted to,
of course,
and you've had that temptation to want to fornicate with them.
Right,
yeah? And you may have, just like me, at some point in your past even tried.
That's why I got married.
Right? Now, exactly.
That's why I got married.
So, a gay person might have gay feelings, but if they don't act on it, they are not committing a sin.
I think you're mistaken where I come from.
Go on.
When I'm saying LGBT priests, where they've got the rainbow flag in the church.
Oh no!
The little
yeah,
rainbow.
These are not. These are condemnable.
But if I was to speak to them, they could bring me.
I bet you.
Verses from the Bible.
Oh, Muz, please, Muz. Trust me, I've tried to do this. I've literally tried to sit down with them and ask them to justify their positions. And I tell you, know what they don't do? They don't do that.
What?
They don't do what you've just said. They don't pull out the Bible to argue. You know what they do? They do this. I'll tell you exactly the kind of argument they give out because I've had this debate with them. They go like, God is love.
Yeah,
God loves everybody. We've got to think about this through God's love. And that's all they ever say. And then the next thing, the next thing that they say is that, love is love. Yeah. All love is equal because God is love. And then you ask them, okay, so show me your ideas in the Bible, and they'll go, oh, well, the Bible is contextualized, it's for a certain time in the past, and we've got to think about what it is to be a Christian today. In other words, they do not they forget the Bible. So in other words, what I'm trying to point out to you is it is not like you think. You cannot just find any priest who can pick up a Bible to justify any position in the Christian faith. But I can, in Islam, find virtually, but not all, I can find a judge to justify, through some youth, hadith and Quran, virtually any position within Islam and issue a fatwa on it. You can find Muslims who say that there's only two houses, Dahal Harb, Dahal Islam, and then you can find judges that say there's Dahal Harb, Dahal Islam, and then the House of Treaty. You can find judges that say you should kill apostates. You can find judges that say you shouldn't kill apostates. You can find judges that say you should beat your wives. You can find judges that say you shouldn't beat your wives. You can find judges that say that slavery is continued today. You can find judges that say slavery is not continued today. I can take you to a Qadi in Birmingham. That says that Palestinians should leave Israel. Just leave. They should do hijrah and go. And then you can find 1,000,001 judges who say that the Palestinians should stay and fight. So every position that you want,
It's very nuanced.
you can find a Qadi to argue whatever you want. And that's the problem with Sharia law, is the Sharia law is fiqh. It is the practice of fiqh. And because it is the practice of fiqh, it is just any man in his opinion, and all he has to be able to do is quote a Quran verse, a hadith, and then he makes up his fiqh, and he can argue whatever he likes.
You know what? I'm glad I had this conversation with you, Bob. I got a lot of things I need to research about. I'm not an expert. I'm glad I had
I
this
respect you,
conversation.
Mus.
And
You've won my respect today.
You've won my respect because honestly, I've seen videos of you and you stand on business. Like, you don't say no. Bible's contextual, and that's what we say with the Quran.
Yeah.
So I admire you for that, man.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Anyway, I want to give you a gift because you've been a very kind and nice person to talk to. Have you got a New Testament?
No.
Well, that's for you then.
No, I'll accept the gift. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I've got it on my phone. I'll read
Right,
it.
well, have a read of it. Come back with your best questions, and let's talk again, Mus.
Honestly.
It was a real pleasure to meet you. Honestly,
I
you've
disagree with
genuinely
a
won
lot
my...
of things,
That's
but-
fine,
but-
ditto, but you won my respect today.
Nice
Because you didn't run, you didn't try and change the subject, you actually told me to stay on topic.
But if I don't
You
know
know?
something, obviously,
So,
I'm not gonna
yeah.
talk over you. If I don't know something, I'll admit to it.
No, I really respect you, and I hope we'll get to talk again.
Yeah, we'll do, Bob. Have
You
a
look
good
after
one, man. I
yourself.
appreciate you.
God bless. Have a
good
nice day.
day.
Happy New Year.
You too.
So, guys, we started off the conversation with Muz's wife, who I probably was a little bit harsh to, because she was attacking the Bible because of a passage in Corinthians where it says if a woman doesn't cover her hair, shave it off. She should shave it off. Now, to answer her question, in case she watches the video, and maybe JC when you do the edit, and Freddie when you do the edit, you should put this bit at the front in the hope that she'll listen. Paul is using hyperbole. He's using the idea that if she's going to shame herself by praying with her head uncovered, she might as well go full hog and shame herself completely by shaving off her hair, right? That's what Paul was saying. But then we got from that on to the question of wife beating in Islam, because the lady who was with Muz, his wife, she has been sold a lie that wife beating in Islam is all about, beating them with a feather, beating them with a miswak, doing it with your two fingers. None of that is in the Quran, none of that is in the hadiths. It's totally made up, it's total tafsir, it's complete fiqh, and it is not Sharia, it is disputable. It is highly disputable, and there is a reason why across the Islamic world there is a problem with marital abuse, of wife beating. There is a reason why in the UK, despite the fact that Muslims only make up 4% of our population, they make up nearly 50% of the women in our women's shelters. That's a problem. And it's a problem caused by the fact that the Quran states, if you suspect a woman of disloyalty or suspect them of doing something wrong, you can beat them. First you admonish them, then you banish them from the bed, then you beat them, and just on suspicion alone. We Christians, and I offer Muz and to his wife a better example, that we Christians are commanded in Scripture that we should love our wives like we love our own bodies. We do not damage or harm our own bodies, so we should not damage or harm the bodies of our wives. And so there is a better example to Muz in the Christian faith than in the Sunnah of Muhammad.